Alrighty, welcome to our second half of our show. This is June 28th. We have a special guest, Brimstone, in the radio station right now. We're actually live on the air, and this is going to be on our YouTube page as soon as I record it. So take a look, watch us as we do our live show. You can hear us on AM 1240 WGBB.com. And you can hear us live on there while on the radio. Or if you're on local, it's AM 1240 WGBB. And also if you have the TuneIn app, you can also hear us on that. So right now we are recording live, and we're going to be starting the show very soon.
This is a crazy place to get to.
Yeah, it was weird when I walked around that. After I figured it out, I was like, there's no way to come in on front. So if you're missing it.
Everybody always parks in the guys next door.
I was afraid to do that. I didn't want to get towed.
It's Sunday, so they're not.
Now, call me crazy, but lately people have been stopped there, and then they leave. So I think he has some sort of security.
Maybe. Yeah.
Oh. What is this?
This is Battle of the Planets. You don't remember Battle of the Planets?
What language?
This is the Japanese theme song from the show. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
You remember Battle of the Planets with G-Force and the Phoenix, and they had the birds, and it was in the 70s. It was in the 70s. It was back in the day.
All right.
That was important.
They had
I stand corrected. No.
one of the reasons why I used to watch the show because it's a Japanese cartoon, and they brought it over to the United States, and the leader was named Mark. I was like, wow, a superhero that has my name.
In the 70s, I was in bands. And we were doing a lot of drugs, so if I watched it, I didn't know what it was. No.
If you saw the birds flying around, and
If I
it's
saw
crazy.
it, but like I said, the 70s, I was doing a lot of bands. We were doing a lot of gigs. So I probably was sleeping.
And so the Japanese brought it back in '94, and this is the Japanese theme song. And it's actually kind of the same song in the American version also.
You talking about Power Rangers before?
I love
Which one
Power.
of my friends were you talking about?
Johnny Young Bosch.
Who?
Johnny Young Bosch, Adam.
No, like, I don't know.
My favorite.
Oh yeah, like Austin, Steve Cardenas, those guys are what Walter.
So you were hanging out with them, those at the Eternal afterwards?
We were hanging out after, well, a little bit during and afterwards. It's just that I had 1,000 people.
Wow, that was hot. Now, back to our show.
And welcome back to A Came From Radio, the show the Big Apple Times. This is your host, Mark Keller speaking. With me in the studio, I have Kelly Saladino, senior correspondent, and on the phone we have traveling correspondent Hassan Godwin. Well, there we go. Today also, since we talked about the New Jersey Anime Con in the first half of the show, we have a very special in-studio guest, of which we are live streaming on our website, www.acamefromradio.com, and we're also going to record it and put it up on our YouTube page when we're done. We have man of 1,000 talents. I knew you as a comic book guy back in the day, but this is Brimstone, so say hi, Brimstone.
Hello, Brimstone. Oh.
What I found interesting is that he gave me this card, and the reason why I have it in my hand is because he has so much stuff on here. He says, he has his backpacks, he has comic books, he has a mobile website, he has, this is the best thing, pro wrestler, author, actor, philanthropist, comic book, animated, and children's book hero, and food creator with his own line of sauces and seasonings. So I'm just gonna start off with how do you start on one thing and just branch out to all these other things, including seasoning and sauces?
Well, it's a lot to go. You know, I could talk about it all day long. I've been in entertainment my entire life. So, I started off on Sesame Street Romper Room, and then so I was a child actor. I was about 5 years old, and then years later, I became a musician. So, I toured the world in music. I was a professional musician, so I was a drummer. And now I am, what do you call it? Well, not now, but right after that, I went into professional wrestling because I got out of a 5-year, basically a 5-person marriage when you're in a band. It's a marriage of more than 2 people, which is very difficult in itself. And after 16, 17 years of professional wrestling, I wanted to find a way to continue to build and brand the name outside of just the business, because there's only so far you can go. So I figured, well, what's the best way to do it? Because I'm a businessman first and an entertainer second. So I said, what's the best way to brand the name? And I've always loved comic books. So since I loved comics, I decided, well, let's do a Brimstone comic, because I'm old school. So, with my wrestling persona, the Brimstone persona, I knew, who my character was, what the character was, where it was coming from, and unlike today where, it's kind of a different animal. So I love the business for what it was, not necessarily for what it is. So that being said, I decided that comic book would be the perfect medium to continue the brand, and I touched base with one of my buddies, Marcello Carnevale, who we sat down for a little cup of coffee, which people who've heard me before have heard the story a zillion times, but it's the truth of the matter. We sat down for what was supposed to be about an hour. It wound up being about 4 or 5. We wrote the entire Bible for the Brimstone and the Borehound series, which is the flagship brand of Hound Comics. Now, that kind of covers a little bit of up to where we got to with the comics. So then, I started talking to, my director of operations for Hound, and I said, listen, because we built Hound Comics and Hound Entertainment Group after, so many people started saying, hey, can you publish us as well? And I said, absolutely. And I know I'm kind of rushing things a little bit. We could always go back if you want. But just to get to where you asked me with the sauce and seasonings, I'm kind of fast forwarding it a little bit here. So we, when I told Eitan, I said, my director of operations, I said, look, if I'm going to be out on tour again, I've already done it in music, I've already done it in wrestling. I said, I don't want to go from state to state or country to country and not see where I am. So everybody's got to eat. We started doing food reviews all around the country. So every event that I did, whether it's New York Comic Con to Wizard Worlds to Kamikaze to the San Antonio Comic Con and everything in between, Great Allentown Comic Con, you name it, I'm there, I'm doing it. And what I do is I would take the people from the convention floor to the tabletops. To the countertops. So this way, we've done everything from a mom and pop hot dog shop to a 5-star restaurant. Food reviews, I'll usually bring one of the other celebrities who I'm friends with along with me. We'll go, we'll dine together, we'll break bread, we'll show everybody, what the best spots are to eat in the area. And from there, I wound up 3 seasons later, and I have my own sauce and seasoning line, because obviously it's the next progression. So if you're doing a food show, you should have something to do with food. So just like comic books, you should have something to do with video games, or you should have something to do with animation. You see what I'm saying? It's the natural progression. So for me in business, I wanted to make sure there was a natural progression for everything that I've done. Hopefully I'm making sense.
It's a lot. It's amazing that we have the talent, as you would be, the talent.
Thank you.
As so knowledgeable that you would know the business end as well.
And it's not easy. You know what I mean? People think it's an easy job. Anybody in entertainment. I mean, look, there's all certain specific levels. And people who do bigger things. That people that are they're just not business savvy. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it runs out. So you need to be able to, one, continue to reinvent yourself, and 2, you need to make sure that if you're going to be, putting yourself out there, you got to have a reason for people to keep coming back. So for me, I completely look. I love doing the events. I love meeting my fans. I love seeing my fans, and obviously, for me personally, I feel bad if I'm sitting and selling them an 8x10 for 20, 30, 40 bucks. People want them anyway. I'll do it, but I will always urge them. I'll say, look, get one of my sauces, one of my seasonings, one of the comics. It's you'll spend 10 bucks here, 15 bucks there, whatever. I'll sign it for you. You're spending less. You can go see other people. And look, later on, you're gonna love the sauce, you're gonna love the seasoning, you're gonna come back and you're gonna buy more. Or my cologne, or you know what I mean, or the comics, or the kids' books, or my swords, whatever. Well, you'll never get another sword again, but at the end of the day, I have enough for people to come back, and there's always something new. I have my candy line, my the Brimstone and the Borderhounds RPG is coming out very, very shortly with Troll Lord Games, Castles and Crusades. So I have my hand in all the different cookie jars. It's just a matter of, there's just so much time in the day. And while we're speaking, I am going live on Periscope, so bear with me. That's what I've been holding on.
Look at this.
There we go.
So while you were doing your whole life of Brimstone, I'm looking at Charlie because Charlie has a beef with the Romper Room people. Charlie is a drummer in a band.
You have beef with Romper
Charlie
Room.
is his best friend, Herman, who used to do the show with us. His brother is a Taz from a wrestler, so it's like you guys are very connected.
Peter Sinertia.
He's your brother?
That's
this
his
is
best friend's brother, Herman Sinertia.
Herman, who used to do the show
Oh.
with us. We grew up together back in Ozone Park, and he had a younger brother that Herman used to walk in the room, pick him up and throw him wherever, which thus the reason for Taz, I guess.
I guess so.
But, so everything you're saying, I'm saying.
So it's
Yeah,
weird.
everything you're
like,
saying, I'm saying like,
he's a drummer.
I'm with you, I'm on the same page with you.
So you've been there, done that.
Not as much as you. I don't have my own sources, or comic books. But it sounds like I'm listening, and I'm like, wow, I'm living in a parallel universe. But it was.
But you're not allowed to paradiddle on the table. It's against the rules.
I know. He told us. He never
It's
made
his
me do
fault.
that.
Yes, my
Yeah,
bad.
yeah. But also it's and believe me, the drive that we have right here.
Yeah.
You have to have that drive, number one. You have to have that, it's not enough thing. You have to have that, which it seems you have, and you're going down a beautiful path of logic and besides good business sense. That what you're doing with the sources is great business.
Thank you.
It's amazing because they will come back.
Mhm.
They will come back.
As long as they appreciate what you're doing and they like the product, they're going to return. And I with everything I do, because my company's called Hound Comics Inc., Hound Entertainment Group, we do everything. It's a multimedia company. But at the end of the day, everything I try to do with quality. Because if it's not a good product, nobody cares. They're not coming back. But if you give them a good product, my sauces, they're award winners all over the country. Every saucy city you could think of, and we've won awards there. Knock on wood. I can't knock on the table, but knock on wood. See,
We have a knock sound effect.
We have a knock sound effect.
We don't have a knock sound effect.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I work hard, and I like to make sure that my fans are well taken care of. So look, they're spending the money because look, our product is gourmet, so it's a little bit more, a little bit pricier than it is to buy a sauce in the store. Not by much, a couple dollars here and there, but you get the quality.
Right.
So people will spend the extra couple of dollars because they know they're getting the proper quality that they deserve for that money.
Right.
So it's a good thing.
So Hassan, you have a question here for Brimstone?
Nah.
Hassan does not love Brim. No love for Brim.
Actually, the question I would ask is, you're doing all these things, you have all these, flames on the burner. Don't take offense to the question because some people do. Some people are offended by this question. And so I'm just going to walk into it lightly. But what is your end game? I mean, you're doing all these things. What's the ultimate?
Brimstone
When are you gonna get to the point when you're like,
To be completely blunt, you can never do enough. However, as far as an end game is concerned, I have a son who's 13, and by the time I'm ready to retire, he can then take over the Brimstone name and gimmick and move forward from there. So,
is he in training? Are you doing like
you know what? Yeah, a little bit here and there. He comes with me to events. And then the positive is that he doesn't give a heck. You know what I mean? So it's not. I made sure at the very early age, because in this business, look, you don't. There's no need to get starstruck. We're all people. We're all humans. We all, crap. We all eat. We all breathe. We all eat. So the first thing that everybody's going to learn when they get into this business is that everybody is human, And you know, there's no reason to be starstruck. And when you act starstruck in front of people, guess what? There's no respect. So that's the first lesson that he's learned, and he's done fantastic with that. He's been around a couple of real heavy hitters. So is my daughter. I mean, I took her to a a Forever 21 red carpet. She came with me too, and there was some mighty big hitters that were there, and you know, she was like a champ. You know, she didn't even care. You know, she did the carpet. She did a little turn on the catwalk, and you know, that was that. You know, but it was very. It's very good. It's a good thing that my kids are learning the right way, because some people just don't know. You know, they don't understand. But yes, my end game is to eventually, essentially retire. But then again, I'm in a race with my buddy Stan Lee. So if Stan is not retiring at 93, I guess old Brim's gonna be stuck doing it till I'm 94. So you know, Godspeed.
That'll be the equivalent of being 50 anyway.
There you go.
Or 11.
There you go. We hope. We hope.
And you'll get a letter.
What did you say? And a letter?
The letter from the president. If you reach 100 years old, you get a letter from the president.
I wonder which president it's going to be. If it's Donald Trump, I'll be happy. Considering I've been trying to get on Celebrity Apprentice for the last God knows how many years. So we'll see what happens.
The progression of comic book conventions. Like I said, I had heard about you way back when, and you're still out there. You're still at appearances. You're still at conventions. You're still doing it. What do you notice that has changed over the years of how conventions used to be to how they are now? You mean, you were just at the Eternal Con, that was 2 weeks ago.
Right.
So what do you think about that?
It's a good question. I mean, the focus nowadays is seems to be like a huge focus now on the celebs, where, you know, back when there was a lot of focus on the artists and there was a lot of focus on the comic books. Now it seems as though the focus has really turned to the celebrities, as well as the vendors, like and the artists, who essentially, you know, it's a comic book convention. You would think that the artists would get a lot more bang for their buck, but at the end of the day, they're not getting as many hits as they probably should. So over the years, that's what I've seen. I've seen changes as far as that's concerned. I also have seen that, I mean, look, conventions have been around for a long time. However, they're now popping up every single day and anywhere, any place that you could possibly think of. There's everything from the major convention centers to the major arenas into bars. I mean, you name it, and it's out there. You know, and there's so many different things. You know what I mean? There's so many different things that you know, you can see that have changed over the years. The one big thing that's changed over the years is the fact that, you know, the cost to get in has risen tremendously, and that's because they're paying all the bigger celebs to come in and make an appearance, and they have to make sure to cover costs. Right. So.
Yeah, they're turning into like arena concerts. Like they're becoming exclusive and partially inaccessible to average fans. And they're getting crazy.
Yeah. Hope I'm making sense.
No, fine sense. I'm thinking. The question I wanted to ask you is, because I feel this way when I go to conventions. What is your what convention do you like better? The huge ones? I know in the sense of business, you would say the huge ones, but I mean, I'm finding that I'm liking Eternal Cons.
Mm-hmm.
Like, after going to all the conventions, I'm liking the moderate conventions.
My choice is slightly different from what other people's would be. Well, and it really depends. Well, one, my first choice would be depending on which area we are in. Because for me, on the entertainment side, I prefer to be in an area that you know, I haven't seen fans in a while, or like an area that I just enjoy, or I have a big fan base where I know I'm going to be seeing X amount of people, like Austin and Portland and New Orleans. I mean, you got these places that they're just popping. Now, on the flip side, you know what I mean, most of the people that do the big events in those areas is like a Wizard and so forth, and I love Wizard to death. I have very good friends that are you know, all along the watchtower of Wizard, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, those events again are very, very large, and you get lost. You know, not necessarily when people come to see you. However, you know, for the regular, I guess if you'd say the regular vendors or the artists or the lesser name, you know, names that are going to be there, they get lost, and they're not necessarily seeing the fans or making the money that they need to make. And the reason for that is because, one, it's a very high ticket to get in. That's why I went to San Diego. You know, not because I don't want to go to San Diego, it's just, it's too big of a show, you get lost. I was, for New York Comic Con, I was a featured guest for 6 years in a row. You know, last year was the first year in the 7 that I hadn't been there. You know, and then we're finding out whether I'm going to do it again this year. But for me, it's not a money-making show. You know, I'll do Celebrity Row, I'll do the signing there for my couple of hours, and then I'll usually go upstairs to one of the different charities that I deal with, whether it's The Truth or what do you call it, the Stan Lee Foundation, to which I'm the celebrity spokesperson for. You know, and then I'll go sign in their booth for the rest of the weekend. You know, and that's where I'll see my fans, because it's just too big of a show. Now on the business side, my personal preference would actually be the small to mid-range shows where, you know, you are a bigger fish in the sea. You know what I mean? In the lake, I guess you'd say. You know, you're a bigger fish. And, you know, what do you call it? You're getting to see the majority of the people that are there. Because when you have a show that's 10, 20, 30,000 people over the course of a weekend, how many people are you going to actually get to see? When you're at a small event, you have a few hundred people and you're one of the bigger guests, you're going to have the opportunity to see a lot more people and cover a lot more ground. And if they weren't fans before, hopefully they're fans now. So my point is that, you know, I want to see as many people as humanly possible. And if you get lost, there's no way to do that.
I would agree with that, because just as a perfect example, as I said, I've heard of Brimstone all these years, and I go to the big conventions, and where did I see him first time ever was at the Eternal Con.
Eternal Con.
And I'm out there.
That's what he's like. He was
And
there
it's-
at New York Comic
to
Con. I go
me,
there every year. I
The
haven't seen him.
reason why I asked you that, to me, it's accessibility.
Mhm.
And that's great for us, it's great for you.
Yeah.
You know, so I agree. I like the down-home cons, you know, not, you know. So, yeah, and that's when you actually got a chance to speak
Yeah,
with
it was weird. All right, so
yeah, he was nice.
no, I'm just saying
I
it
was,
was
I was okay.
It was weird. It's weird just going to just talking to people, just like, hey, how's it going? As opposed to when
yeah.
when there's a giant line, you have to wait, and it's a whole
Well,
thing, and
yeah.
you get rushed away after you do meet the guy,
Yeah.
especially, you know, after paying 50, 60,
Yeah.
70. If you want to meet Sylvester Stallone, I'll
Shatner.
never let him live down. I will
Shatner.
never let him live that down. Sylvester
Shatner.
Stallone was what, like $600 for the autograph?
You spent $600.
No, I'm saying that, you know, people.
I wouldn't want to hit you. I'm sorry. No,
No.
people were.
And I would make you hit him if he spent $600.
You know, can I tell you? All right, the last year that I was signing at New York,
Yeah.
what do you call it? You had the row of David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson.
Right.
All right. Then it was, what do you call it? Somebody else. I don't remember who it was there. But then you had JDF. So
Yeah.
Jason was there.
Yep.
And then right next to him was Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
Then me. And then Shatner.
I was there, and I still didn't
You
get
know,
to see him.
Shatner, and then what do you call it? Next to him,
Anthony Daniels was down there.
I'm not sure. Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
C-3PO, right?
that-
Yeah.
I was there.
And then somebody else, and then Stan was doing his pictures. I said, now what the hell is Brimstone going to do in between all these fools? And I know half of them, you know what I mean? I'm friendly with JDF, I'm friendly with this one, I'm friendly with that one. I said, well, you know, what the hell? I said, I can't compete. So, you know, you're talking about also the different levels. So, you know, where I am, I'm not an A-lister, I'm not even a D-lister compared to what some of these guys are. So, you know, it makes it very difficult when I'm trying to compete with some of these guys. And I also have respect. So if there are other, you know, as far as the wrestling people are concerned, you know, if any of the older boys are there, you know, I have respect. You know, I'd rather them make some money because I have other ways to make the money. But, you know, everybody's got to eat though. You know?
Right.
So, and I hope I'm making sense, you know.
You
Oh,
are.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah, definitely.
All right, so we have less than 5 minutes. I told you it was going to go by really
Oh,
fast.
I'm used to that.
Website. Where can people find yourself? Where can they go and find the Brimstone?
The Brimstone brand, the label. Well, you can go to www.entrancetohell.com is my official website.
Don't go to the entrance
To the
of
actual
hell.
entrance, yeah.
What? Hey, whoa! Sound effect! Somebody's dying. Then we can. No. All right. Let's go PC. www.brimstone.me. That's what I have to tell people who are too scared to put in Entrance to Hell. So that being said, you can also catch us at houndcomics.com. You can see everything we do on both sites. What do you call it? We're beefing up everything. Like, so some of the products that we do have, like the toys and all that jazz, have not yet gone up on the site because we were dealing with everybody separately and sending people off. Now we're doing a lot of stuff in-house. So yes, houndcomics.com, brimstone.me, And what do you call it? And you got us good. What do you call it? Then you can also check us out on social media, because then my director of social media, Anna, who's back here, she'd kill me if I didn't promote it.
Hello.
So you do at Hound Comics is pretty much everything social media on the Hound side, and then for myself, Twitter is at Entrance to Hell. Sorry about that. Go ahead. Where's the scream? Where's the scream? You're off. You're off. You're fired. What do you call it? Instagram is at The Real Brimstone. There we go.
Delay screen.
Is at The Real Brimstone. Periscope, Twitter, like I said, at Entrance to Hell. Facebook /Brimstone. And yeah, there's like a ton of other things. Usay, it's usay.com/Brimstone. Also, if anybody out there is a fan, you guys a fan of Loot Crate?
I've heard of Loot Crate. I've heard of Loot Crate. That's pretty much it.
It's a monthly fan
The
box
subscription. Yeah.
Right, so I'm one of the celebrity ambassadors for that. So what I'm going to do for your listeners, if anybody out there would like to do this, and it's not advertising, if you go to lootcrate.com/Brimstone, put in the code Brimstone, and you can get 10% off your entire subscription.
Look at that.
Okay.
There you go. Save yourself some cash.
I'm gonna put all of that on the Facebook and the website.
Yes.
Yes.
Because, that's not
And when you save that 10%, you come buy a comic book or a sauce from me.
There you go. All right, so we have only a couple minutes left, so we're gonna do final thoughts. Hassan, you want to give us a final thought?
I think always fantastic. I think the convention yesterday was fantastic. It was fantastic. I think this guy's gonna be something to know it. And
Who, me?
Yeah, not my, yeah, you. And I hope you don't have my.
Charlie, final thought?
Well, first of all, it's a pleasure to have Brimstone here, and I'm just going to use my final thought to turn it over to him. And you were talking about charities. Is there anything you want to get out as far as charities?
Yes. I'm going to be doing some stuff with the UCP here on Long Island. What do you call it? It's very important to me to give back as much as humanly possible. So I'm going to be doing a run through there on July 20th with I'm having my friends from Build-A-Bear send out a bunch of bears. Going to take care of the little ones there, do a meet and greet for them. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm also doing with the Empire Saber Guild. If you guys are familiar with them, my boys over there, they actually did a signature series, a Brimstone card. So it's an exclusive that if you make any donation for the St. Mary's Children's Hospital, you're going to get one of those for free, and I'll sign it at no cost. What do you call it? So you get it's me as a Sith. It's pretty awesome.
All right, so with 2 seconds left, final thought.
Final thought, make sure to hit me up. I am here on Long Island right now. My location, 4117 Hempstead Turnpike, Bethpage, New York. We have everything that Hound does, Brimstone does right there, Hound Entertainment, and thank you so much for having me here at It Came From The Radio.
My final thought is, first off, I mentioned the JerseyCon was really great. Check out all the pictures on our Facebook page. It's a really good job. I hope they much continued success to Warren Choi. Thank you, Brimstone, for coming down. We're actually going to be doing a live streaming event on the 15th of July, I believe.
I think so.
So you guys can check us out on that camera, and I'll be in his office and get to see all the really cool stuff. And there's so much more questions I had to ask. It's like crazy. We ran out of time. That about does it for this week on It Came From The Radio. Join us right here and every week on WGBB. If you missed any part of the show, you can go to our website, www.itcamefromtheradio.com. Listen to us on the archives video in a week or so. Also, you can always check us out on iHeartRadio. Archives will be up, and we're still recording this, and this will be on our YouTube page. So make sure you check us out, and we'll see you next week.
Take it easy.
You have been listening to
Thank you so
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
I'm listening.
All right,
to you.
so that is it for the live stream, and I'm going to put this up on our YouTube page in just a little bit. We'll see you next time. Make sure you like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at ICFTR.
You got like a Shatner, who's the